it's this part of Japanese culture and Okinawan karate that draws us to practice this art.
There's so many like foreigners practicing karate in Okinawa.
Well, I want to use the positive side of this. It's, for example, when they say that an army of 10,000 men can be defeated, but not an idea whose time has come. And so in the theme of this comment, the idea of karate, or the fighting arts now, because there are so many, have been popularized in many Western countries. We foreign people love the challenge because it challenges us physically. And the more we practice the art, the more we learn about ourselves. So the art becomes very pensive, very inward looking. And the more mistakes we make, and I make so many, the more we learn about our weaknesses. The more we learn about our weaknesses, the stronger we become. And so it's this part of Japanese culture and Okinawan karate that draws us to practice this art. Proverbs. One is bunbu ryodo. Bunbu ryodo, bun means a scholar or a study, or when you contrast it to bu means the physical or the military or the martial. And so the idea is that the Budo has to be like a twin path. There are two roads. One road is the physical, and one road is the non-physical. And there must be a balance, because when there's not a balance, it's reflected in a person's character. You can usually tell the people with, the big noses, the arrogance, or because they never practice the philosophy or the historical or the spiritual element of our art. They only want to be strong and fight. And there's a place for that, especially in the military. But as an art form, we want the balance. So we say bunryodo. The other one is called onko chishin. The meaning of onko chishin is this: is if you are fortunate enough to have a sensei or a mentor or guide, coach, to reveal to you how studying the old helps you better understand the new, particularly with regards to the future, and your understanding of tradition will always be never to blindly follow the men of old, or ferociously protect their ashes in a box. But tradition is about continuing to seek out that which the pioneers were seeking. Continually better understand how those principles, which can never be changed, have to be reinterpreted for our understanding in an effort to keep alive this valuable teachings to the community that we serve. And in doing so, the tradition continues to evolve. And we use a term called shuhari. Shuhari. Shuhari means learn from tradition, break the chain of tradition, and then transcend the tradition, only to come around again to the doorstep of tradition again. And so learning becomes this continual evolution. Every time I learn something new, I'm a beginner. And when I continue to research it, I become better. Maya Angelou had a quote. She said, "I did then what I knew how to do. And when I learned more, I did better." So every time we finish the circle of learning, we're better than we were before. In Japan, studied the work of Henry Ford. Henry Ford invented automobiles. Well, arguably. Japanese car manufacturers studied his work, and they realized Henry Ford took a little bit of information and he continually improved upon it until he developed a car. So the Japanese invented a concept based upon Henry Ford, and they called it Kaizen. The meaning of Kaizen is expressed in English with the English acronym C-A-N-I. Can-I. Can-I. Constant and never-ending improvement. The meaning of Kaizen in a Budo is not to be the best. Don't worry about being the best. Because even if you're the best, soon somebody's going to be better than you. But you try to continually improve yourself just a little bit every day. And maybe some days you fall back one day. Today, I'm better. Oh, I fall back again. But I continue. I never stop. And even in the end, if you never accomplish the goal, it's okay. Because the entire time you will be too busy pursuing the goal. So the pursuit, not the possession. The race, not the finish line. It's the practicing. Training is its own. Study, training is the goal, the journey. But I think I think one reason why foreign people like it because the Japanese culture is a wonderfully challenging culture of conformity, and where the hive, the group, the Borg, man, the group mentality is very important. In a Western culture, it's our individuality, our independence from the group that tends to be the yardstick that we measure our character, by the way. So I think it's that difference that makes this culture so attractive for us.
Related, I think many foreigners said that they are kind of suffocated. They have to, follow the conformity. Like, do you sometimes feel that you have to be conformed into the society?
So sometimes if you're walking on the floor and you see the nail sticking up on the floor, oh, ouch!
Yeah.
What do you do with the nail?
Yeah.
You put the nail back down, right?
That's right.
You understand?
Yeah.
So I teach you a 面白いことわざを教えたいんですけれども、出る釘は打たれるでしょ? There's an interesting expression about conformity in Japanese culture. If a nail is protruding up from the floor, you take a hammer and you hit it back down again. But because of all the activity on the floor, the nail might come back up again. So then you hit it down again. But if the nail keeps coming up and down, you take a hammer and you pluck it out. So metaphorically speaking, in this culture, if you are the protruding nail, you're always questioning authority. You're always trying to figure out there's another way to do something. What ultimately happens is if you don't conform, they push you back down. So, 出る杭は打たれる。本当の意味は be a good boy でしょ? Don't use critical thinking. But we thrive on critical thinking. Well, sorry, we should thrive on it, unless you're in the military or you work for the bank or the school system. So this idea about, and by the way, when I say they pluck you out, in Japan they have a term, long time ago from Edo Jidai, they call it Murahachibu. Murahachibu means they take you out from the village. But if they take you out from the village, you might not care. But your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, nobody will speak to them, they cannot get food, and they will die. So there was a lot of pressure to don't rock the boat. I lived in Australia for many years. We call it the tall poppy syndrome.
Tall poppy.
Yeah, so all puppies all grow to the same length.
Yeah.
But if one puppy goes very high, the wind blows it over. Another expression is tall trees provoke the pride of winds. So if a tree goes very high, the wind always pushes it down. But we also think the same as the bamboo. The taller the bamboo, the lower it bends. Be like the bamboo. So if you are the person who wants to challenge status quo because of the idea of tradition, of continuing to improve not just your understanding of it, but how it should be imparted in a more succinct way to achieve the same outcome, we hope that by the time you grow tall enough and smart enough, you will hang your head low enough to make your changes quietly and use this tactical strategy to let it infiltrate the minds and hearts of those. So the last kotoba I share with you is this. So the Bumburi Odo and the Derukugi Otariru and the Onko-chishin is brought together in humility with Fugenjiko.
Yeah.
Fugenjiko, So Fugenjiko means actions, not words. Show them, don't tell them. Do it by example. Lead by example. Don't tell them this is the way you should do. Because nobody wants to hear this is the way you should do it. But when they watch you do it, everybody goes, oh, I want to do that too. Bunryodo, Onko-chishin, Derukugi Atariru, and Fugenjiko are the 4 building blocks of this foundation to make it work.
Are you a part of karate association in Okinawa in the world?